everyone, what is going on? Raven here, welcome back. We're doing another Harry Potter video for you all today. Now this video today is all about the hardest spells to perform. Now I am going to do a little bit of spoiler. There is one potion in this list as well. I did not make this list. The link will be in the description so you can go ahead and check all that out. So the first one we're going to do in this list today is any nonverbal spell. It doesn't necessarily pertain to a specific incantation, but nonverbal spellcasting is said to be an incredibly difficult thing to master. It comes up several times in Harry Potter and was showcased brilliantly in the Fantastic Beasts series. Nonverbal spellcasting gives the user a significant edge in battles, but it's also more practical and safe when casting a spell in a location with muggles around. Yet despite these advantages, most witches and wizards don't bother mastering the technique because it requires an extreme amount of focus. So it is a skill that is not for everyone. Obliviate. Obliviate is an extremely difficult spell to cast, and that's probably for the best. It is a spell used when someone wants to remove a person's memories, and as such, it really shouldn't be used lightly. It has been convenient in keeping muggles unaware of the magic all around them. It requires the caster to know what memories need to be removed. It's sort of like using a scalpel instead of a sword. The caster has to know what they're aiming for. That's the main reason why muggles don't hear about people losing their memory all over the place. Similar to that is the false memory charm. It is similar and dissimilar to the Obliviate spell. While Obliviate removes memories, the false memory replaces unwanted memories with something else. It is an extremely difficult spell to cast. There are only a few instances of the spell being used during the course of the novels. It is performed by Hermione Granger during the Deathly Hallows in an attempt to protect her parents from the Death Eaters. Those familiar with Hermione's spellcasting can get an idea of how much determination and drive this spell would have required. The one and only potion in today's video will be the Polyjuice Potion. While, like I said before, it is not a spell, but it is worthy of mention because of its direct importance to the Harry Potter storyline. It is first mentioned in Chamber of Secrets when Hermione Granger brewed it, and again appeared in the Goblet of Fire when Barty Crouch Jr. used it to assume Mad-Eye Movie's role. It also appears again in Deathly Hallows when Ron, Harry, and Hermione use it to become individuals high up in the Death Eaters governmental thing to kind of find the Horcrux, the locket. So there's another one as well. It is said to be extremely difficult and time-consuming. Hermione did say in Chamber of Secrets it takes about a month to brew. It is among the most advanced wizarding practices mentioned in the Harry Potter series. Devastating effects of implementing it correctly were seen when Hermione accidentally turned herself into a cat. It took a long time for her to become human once again. Undetectable Extension Charm is another difficult spell to cast. It's one of those that have been heavily regulated by the Ministry of Magic. The charm does exactly what it sounds like. It expands the area within an object, but it does so in a way that won't be picked up by most detection spells. The spell was done by Hermione Granger, where she put the spell in her purse in order to carry all the supplies that she, Harry, and Ron would need on their quest to look for the Horcruxes. It is a tricky bit of work, which is something that Hermione has said herself about this spell. Sectum Sempra. When Harry comes to own a second-hand potions book, he discovers that it's rife with wizarding tricks and tips, and the prior owner even invented some of their own spells. One of them would be Sectum Sempra. It is used for enemies only, able to inflict numerous deep lacerations on an opponent's body. Sectum Sempra is extremely dangerous and not to be taken lightly. While the difficulty of the spell is never exactly specified, Snape's incredible knowledge of curses indicates that its creation and use were not easy. It's also not for faint of heart wizards. Apparition and Disapparition are considered to be extreme difficult spells to successfully cast, at least at first. In fact, there are special instructors that will come in and teach students this technique, and these specialists not only need to know how to teach it, but how to undo any damage done to any of the students when it is used incorrectly. Both spells are forbidden to students underage, as the risk is simply too high. The hope is that older students will have enough discipline to use them safely. The difficulty of the spells is made clear when one realizes that many witches and wizards would simply prefer to travel by other means instead. Occlumency and Legilimens. Occlumency and Legilimens are two sides of the same coin. kind of like the memory charm in Obliviate. One allows the user to defend their mind from outsiders, while the other allows them to read the minds of others. It is believed that of the two, Occlumency is more difficult. That is likely due to constant vigilance. To borrow a term from Moody, required along from a variety of other challenges. Occlumency requires the user to completely clear themselves of all thoughts. That is a trick that most of us wouldn't be able to do. Harry certainly struggled with it, and he had some sort of the best incentives out there to try and make it work. The Cruciatus Curse. One of the 3 unforgivable curses deemed morally unacceptable for use by the Wizards community is a Cruciatus Curse, and it allows the caster to inflict torment on a victim. It requires incredible skill and, more like violent feelings. You need to be full of malcontent. Members of polite society aren't often brimming. The Dark Lord and his gang of Death Eaters make frequent use of the curse to extract information from and punish their enemies. Harry even attempts to cast a spell on Bellatrix Lestrange in Order of the Phoenix, but he's only able to knock her off her feet. The Animagus spell. Sirius Black may make this magic look easy, but he's an experienced Animagus, and things aren't nearly as stress-free for less experienced spellcasters. The first time a witch or wizard hopes to cast a spell, they must go through an entire process. It combines potions, transfiguration, and the preparation is exceedingly complicated. Messing up at any point will require the caster to start all over, assuming that they didn't do damage or alter themselves in the process. That is the main reason why there are so few in the world. The creation of the Horcrux. By now, most Harry Potter fans are aware of the requirements for creating a Horcrux, given that all witches and wizards are required to do in the process of making one. It is undoubtedly one of the most macabre and strenuous spells to cast. There are 2 major components to this spell. First, the caster must prepare the item that will eventually become the Horcrux. Then they must split their soul and bind it to an object. And to split their soul, it means you must take the life of another individual. The Imperious Curse. The Imperious Curse places a victim in a state of hypnosis. I don't know why I'm saying hypnosis, allowing them to be commanded to do nearly anything. It is known to be shockingly heartless and seriously difficult curse to pull off. Dark Lord used it quite a bit during his initial rise to power. Many ex-Death Eaters tried to claim that they were under the influence of this curse after the fact. During the events of the Harry Potter novels, heroes like Harry and Minerva McGonagall would use it on occasion. A Patronus. The Patronus charm is perhaps the most notorious difficult to cast spell in the wizarding world, and is certainly the first one to come to mind for most fans. The Patronus charm requires the caster to hold on to a moment of pure happiness. They must think of their happiest memory. It can be exceptionally difficult to come up with the right memory and hold on to it so tightly, especially if there are Dementors nearby, which is the main reason you would require this spell. Flight. The magical community had believed it is to be impossible to fly. Witches and wizards can fly with a broom or other enchantment, of course, but almost no one can fly unaided. Only one wizard has been able to create and reliably use a spell that grants the ability to fly. An explanation is never given, but you-know-who somehow mastered the art, and since he's the only one to do so, fans can imagine just how difficult this must have been. And the final one, the Killing Curse. The most malignant spell in wizarding history, the Killing Curse allows users to instantly take the lives of their victims. It's a favorite of you-know-who. A wizard so vile is able to cast this unspeakable spell without a second thought. The Killing Curse requires strong feelings of hatred to perform, and it takes a mastery of the dark arts to utilize correctly. It's worth noting that Harry did not resort to using the spell during his final battle with you-know-who. Instead, he opted to reflect the curse back at the caster by way of a different, more common spell. So, what do you guys think of this list? Let me know in the comment section down below. And I think I'm going to be doing another Harry Potter video very soon. I've already got the link up and I'm ready to go. So, I will see you all in my very next video. Bye!